talk about our own democracy for a second. Efforts abroad, efforts here at home, is everybody basically is, the conversation is only getting louder, which I think everybody is grateful for. You may have heard Representative Barney Frank is leaving. I'm sure you did. But take a listen to his explanation as to why.
Look, I don't like raising money. One of the advantages to me of not running for office is I don't even have to pretend to try to be nice to people I don't like.
You have an amendment, and you agree with me and everybody on the petition and all the other petitions that exist on the principle of the corrupt nature of the auction of government, of the dependence on fundraising. You have introduced your own amendment that is certainly has the best name. I have to give it immediately out of the gate. You've got the best name, certainly in presentation with Occupied. But lay out for us the principles that you believe are central to separating business and state.
Sure. First of all, the Occupied Amendment, it's an acronym. People can go to the Occupied.
Well, we have it right there. Outlawing corporate cash, undermining the public interest in our elections and democracy. I mean, it's a great slogan. We just got, what's the amendment?
And the amendment is very clear, and the premise is clear. If you look at the protests taking place, not just on Wall Street, but throughout the country, there is a fundamental belief that Congress isn't working for the American people. And
there's evidence of it. It's not just a belief.
There is evidence to back that up. People are frustrated, and what you see, and again, it unites, it spans the political spectrum. Whether it's the Occupy movement or all across the political spectrum, everyone would agree that for far too long, corporations have really occupied our nation's capital. They spend so much money, and since Citizens United, and given the continued push by Mitt Romney and others to define them as persons, it makes it really difficult for the people to have control over their government. Corporate dollars are flooding.
We get the problem. What we'd like to know is how. So in other words, with the way we're driving this debate, it seems that there's are corporations people, and then there is money, and then the question is money speech, and they're kind of two different questions, and they both seem incredibly relevant. You appear to be really addressing our corporations people more than is money speech in this. Is that correct?
Well, we actually attempt to deal with all of them.
Okay.
There is an opportunity that we have right now to rally behind this effort, the one that you've worked so hard on,
to amend
the Constitution. Yeah. And what we do is, number one, we say the corporations aren't people. It's clear to anyone who looks at it that the framers of the Constitution never intended to give them the rights that individuals have. Number two, Congress has the ability to regulate corporations. They can't claim constitutionally protected rights to defend them against the public interest. And the big one, number three, for-profit corporations cannot spend their money in our elections. And after...
But what about this? Because, I mean, I've seen this in large corporations where I'll pay you, so you're a big shot executive at Big Shot Company 1, 2, 3. I'm going to pay you $30 million. But I'm going to pay you $30 million under the understanding that you personally will spend that $30 million on politicians. It won't. Big Shot Corporation 1, 2, 3 will never be seen. In other words, why try to control the flow of money and who's what, and why not simply say, or go with what I call the NCAA rules, which is if you take money from a private source of any kind, yourself or anybody else, a union, a corporation, your mother, I don't care, you're fired. We fire U.S. kids that play quarterback at USC. If they take a hamburger from the wrong guy or gal, why don't we apply NCAA rules?
I'll tell you why. Because the problem with the system isn't the college kid who gives $20 to the Obama re-election campaign.
But isn't it all a quid pro quo?
No, certainly the kid
so
or,
you have
or
no
the
option.
seniors
If I give you $20 as a college kid compared to the college kid who doesn't give you $20, you have no more of an obligation to the kid. Then why am I giving $20?
Well, that's the problem with the system, Dylan. You've hit on it. Why are you giving $20? It used to be that people participated in the system because they believed in it, because they believed in their elected leaders. Now we've got a system where corporations can spend unlimited amounts of their own money, even in the case that you described.
But doesn't your thing give an advantage to rich people then?
No, because the last piece of the amendment says that Congress has the authority to create a campaign finance system that limits the contributions from real people, from the Koch brothers, from others, in the example that you gave, from CEOs who may be spending their own money, but they're spending it in that's how we wrap this all together.
Very, very interesting.
And at the OccupyedAmendment.org, I think we lay out in even greater detail if people are interested.
Wonderful, and I encourage people to go to that. It's OccupyedAmendment.org.
It's the OccupyedAmendment.org.
So please check that out. It's a pleasure to know you, and I hope that we can continue this conversation.
I look forward to it. Thanks so much.
So do I. Coming up here on the DR Show, on the heels of that super committee super fail, Governor Chris Christie